Well, it's funny what kind of people are attracted to. I'm just trying to keep the main thing. The main thing is that's basketball, trying to win games, sticking up for my teammates.
Making it known, like if the refs aren't going to handle it, I will handle it.
Yeah, I think that's just who I am. It's my personality.
Caitlin Clark's historic $28 million Nike deal came with a secret condition, one that the brand never expected, and the WNBA had never seen before. While the world was busy celebrating the contract, Clark was making a power play behind closed doors, a move designed to reward a teammate's loyalty in the most shocking way imaginable. This wasn't about money or shoes. This was an act so profound, it sent an undeniable message to the entire league and redefined what it truly means to be a superstar. The real story isn't the deal she signed, it's the one she gave away.
A top WNBA pick, Caitlin Clark, her first pro game, 10 days away, but even before she makes her pro debut, she has a major Nike deal on the line.
This referees, are they ever gonna call a foul? Y'all gonna call a foul? Did you swallow your whistle?
The numbers alone are enough to make your head spin. Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenom, inked a deal with Nike reported to be worth up to $28 million over 8 years. Let's put that into perspective. This isn't just the largest endorsement contract in the history of the WNBA. It's a figure that puts her in the same financial stratosphere as seasoned NBA veterans. The deal came with the ultimate symbol of athletic royalty, her very own signature shoe, a prize reserved for the truly transcendent.
It silenced it.
Well, Caitlin Clark could be breaking another record, this time with an endorsement deal. The Associated Press says Clark will soon be signing an 8-year, $28 million contract with Nike.
The media frenzy was immediate. Headlines declared her the new commercial queen of sports, and rightfully so. She was an advertiser's dream, a cultural phenomenon who could move merchandise with a single flick of her wrist. But the money, the shoe, and the fame were all a brilliant distraction. The real story, the one that truly defines what she's building, wasn't written on a contract. It was forged in the fire of on-court warfare.
So it's really hard to develop a boldly disruptive shoe on Zoom.
And then rolling that into what will be her shoe later in the year.
This was, I believe, Caitlin Clark's last game in the WNBA. And then also, of course, the WNBA All-Star Game had 3.4 million viewers, and that's the most watched WNBA.
From the second she stepped onto a professional court, Caitlin Clark had a massive target painted on her back. This wasn't the friendly confines of college basketball anymore. This was the WNBA, a league filled with the toughest women on the planet, all fighting for their contracts, their respect, and their place in the game. The welcome she received was nothing short of brutal. Hard, intentional fouls from players like Kennedy Carter didn't just make sports shows, they became national news, sparking debates about whether the league was protecting its new golden goose.
Sink in for a second.
When it comes to attendance, when it comes to viewership, when it comes to jersey sales, when it comes to merch sales, it's going to be the biggest that we have seen.
The physicality was relentless, a clear and unspoken message sent from every opponent: you will not waltz in here and dominate. But through all the chaos, the cheap shots, and the media storms, one teammate consistently stood in the breach. That teammate was Sophie Cunningham. When Clark got knocked to the floor, it was Sophie who was instantly in the offender's face. When reporters tried to bait Clark with loaded questions, it was Sophie who would step in and shut them down. She became Clark's unofficial enforcer, her on-court bodyguard, the gritty muscle that allowed the artist to do her work. And what allegedly happened next proves that Caitlin Clark noticed every single second of it.
You gotta speak up and speak out. At this point, they don't even care if we speak out.
Caitlin Clark, currently the face of the WNBA, yes.
Here is where the official story ends, and a far more compelling narrative begins. It's a story that started as whispers in locker rooms and spread like wildfire through league circles, a tale so audacious it seemed impossible. Nike, in celebration of their groundbreaking partnership, decided to host an exclusive private event to honor Caitlin Clark in Indianapolis. It was designed to be her coronation, a ceremony for the new face of the brand. But there was a strange request. Clark was told she could invite only one teammate to join her. Without hesitation, she chose Sophie Cunningham. Sophie arrived assuming it was a standard brand function, maybe a few photos, a quick speech, a chance to support her friend. She had absolutely no idea she was about to become the centerpiece of the most shocking and unprecedented power play in the history of women's sports.
But she did it in a way that she wasn't going to injure JC. She was just making it known, like, if the refs aren't going to handle it, I will handle it. Again, we don't know how bad it is.
Inside the private venue, surrounded by top Nike executives, the ceremony began. They presented Caitlin with a stunning, custom-made Indiana Fever jersey. Its numbers and name stitched in brilliant gold thread, a piece of memorabilia fit for a Hall of Famer. The room erupted in applause as cameras rolled. But Clark didn't put it on. She held it for a beat, letting the moment hang in the air, then turned to a visibly confused Sophie Cunningham. According to the story, she spoke with a quiet intensity that silenced the room. "This isn't just for me," she said. "This is for every woman who shows up, fights hard, and protects her team." She then gestured toward a glass display case.
Women's sports.
How people view Caitlin Clark, and whether people view that the WNBA needs to protect Caitlin Clark, the golden goose of a league, as which she is being called.
What you're going to do when you come into our house. It was an intentional foul. It was a hard foul. She brought her down.
Inside, illuminated by a single spotlight, was a custom pair of sneakers in Fever colors. Stitched boldly on the heel was a two-word phrase that might as well have been Sophie's personal motto, "No backing down." But the sneakers weren't the real bombshell. Resting next to them on black velvet was a folder. Inside was a contract. It was a sub-deal. A legitimate, multi-year endorsement agreement for Sophie Cunningham, personally negotiated by Clark and carved out from her own massive Nike deal.
She's number 1 and 2 in every offensive stat. She's hitting more threes this season than Steph Curry did in his first MVP season.
Her ability to step up in big moments. When the bright lights are on, Caitlin Clark is also on.
In a league where players fight tooth and nail for every scrap of attention, every marketing opportunity, and every dollar, this act was nothing short of revolutionary. A rookie at the absolute peak of her own coronation had used her immense leverage not to ask for more, but to give it away. The story of what happened in that room allegedly sent shockwaves through the Fever organization and beyond. Teammates were stunned. Veterans who had been in the league for over a decade couldn't believe it.
This was, I believe, Caitlin Clark's last game.
So we know the new Caitlin Clark Nike shoes came out, and they sold out. It was rumored that 13,000 pairs of Caitlin Clark's new Nike basketball sneakers were being sold on June 30th.
One prominent rival player was reportedly overheard telling her agent, "She just gave her teammate the kind of shine and security most of us work our entire careers for and never get. And she didn't even blink. This wasn't just a generous gift. It was a complete culture reset." Caitlin Clark had single-handedly rewritten the unwritten rules of stardom. She sent a clear, undeniable message to everyone: in my world, loyalty is rewarded above all else. If you protect me, I will make sure the world knows your name.
Not blame Sophie at all. Like, I have her back.
And I'm here to tell you, it is not a good moment in the fan base. Fans are quiet online. A lot of people are starting to look like they're reselling their All-Star tickets.
Now, it's fair to ask, did this actually happen exactly as the story says? The truth is, the event lives in that powerful gray area between confirmed fact and powerful legend. But its impact doesn't depend on its absolute verifiability. Its power comes from the fact that it feels so profoundly true to who these two players are. This is precisely why Nike was willing to invest a staggering $28 million. They weren't just buying a player who can shoot from the logo.
Maybe I'm biased here, but I'm going to give you guys my straight up honest opinion on this. She bear hugged her, took her to the ground. Yes, it was intentional. It was absolutely intentional. It was, to me, payback for what was happening the entire game.
They were investing in a leader. They were backing a cultural force whose value extends far beyond the basketball court. This story, whether it's 100% factual or a legend born from a kernel of truth, perfectly illustrates what Nike was really paying for. They bought character. They bought integrity. In a sports world drowning in scripted PR and empty slogans, they bought something real, something authentic. They bought a star who leads with her actions.
Making it known, like if the refs aren't going to handle it, I will handle it.
Thank God they get Caitlin Clark. She's injured for 2 weeks. All of a sudden, attendance goes down.
Forget the rumors for a moment and just look at the tangible facts. The Caitlin Clark effect is a real measurable phenomenon. Arenas across the country are selling out for Fever games. Viewership for the WNBA is shattering records on a weekly basis. Her jersey became the top-selling jersey for any draft pick ever in any sport. The Indiana Fever, a team that was struggling just a season ago, is now the most watched, most talked about team in professional basketball. Her presence has not only lifted the league, but has also elevated every single player around her. And her commitment to lifting others is not just a rumor.
Is going to change. And not much is going to change until there's literally a shift in how they view the WNBA, how they view good basketball on the court.
She is in the process of launching a real-world mentorship program for young girls in underserved communities, an initiative focused on providing access and guidance. This real-world action mirrors the exact values seen in the Nike story, proving that her brand is, and always has been, about building something bigger than herself.
They had other ads and things that came out, but since then it has been cricket.
But this move wasn't just about rewarding a friend. It was a silent shot fired in a much larger cultural battle. The narrative dominating the WNBA has been one of individual rivalries and public confrontations. The media loves to frame every game as Caitlin versus Angel Reese, or Caitlin versus Kennedy Carter. It's a story of trash talk, side eyes, and personal beefs. It's a compelling drama, but it's built on the foundation of individual conflict. Clark's alleged action with Nike offers a stunning counter-narrative.
Caitlin Clark has created more buzz around the basketball landscape and has actually transformed and revived a league that was the WNBA, and she is getting paid a measly $28 million.
While everyone else was focused on building their brand through public opposition, Clark was quietly building hers on private loyalty. It represents a fundamental split in the philosophy of power. One side argues that you rise by asserting your dominance over others. The other, the one Clark seems to be championing, suggests you rise by lifting others up with you. This move, real or rumored, wasn't just a thank you to Sophie Cunningham, it was a declaration of what kind of leader she intends to be.
Her ability to step up in big moments. When the bright lights are on, Caitlin Clark is also on.
So what does this mean for the future? If this story holds any weight, it could tear up the old playbook for sports endorsements entirely. For decades, the model has been simple. A brand signs one superstar athlete based on their individual talent and marketability. But the Clark model introduces a radical new concept. A brand investing not just in a player, but in the culture they create. Suddenly, an athlete's value isn't just in their stats, but in their leadership and their ability to elevate their team.
Continues to prove her worth on the court every single time she steps on the court. And with that, she had a huge impact on elevating her entire team yesterday.
You don't really get to be a dog and get to that platform where you get to bring a national title, the first one back to LSU, without having that type of mentality, that chip on your shoulder. And I feel like we have to let these young women be unapologetically themselves.
This could spark a paradigm shift. Will brands like Nike, Adidas, and Puma start scouting for locker room leaders, not just point leaders? Will we see more team-based endorsement packages, where a star's deal includes provisions for key teammates or even their longtime trainers? This empowers athletes to negotiate for more than just themselves, giving them a tool to reward the support systems that are crucial to their success. What Clark may have started is a movement toward a more collaborative and authentic form of sports marketing, one that values the story of the team as much as the star.
Caitlin Clark running the show. Caitlin Clark running the offense, being the innovator of offense, the distributor of offense for the Indiana Fever.
So while the world continues to fixate on the $28 million figure, they are ultimately missing the point. That number is just the cost of doing business. The real value, the priceless asset, is the revolution she represents. It's a quiet, determined movement built on a simple but radical idea that true greatness isn't measured by what you achieve for yourself, but by how you lift up the people standing beside you. The story of the secret deal for Sophie Cunningham may go down as a modern sports legend, but it's a legend that perfectly captures the new era Caitlin Clark is ushering in. an era where loyalty is the ultimate currency, and the most powerful play you can make is to have someone's back.